What's good, people? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the channel. We are all back for another Premier League fan debate with some familiar faces and some new faces. It's a Premier League fan debate, but this is a football show, so I'm not going to start ripping into Joe and Leeds too much. You know what I'm saying? So, welcome back, bro. I thought I'd get you on because there has been some Leeds coverage, and well, listen, we're a big fan. We get on well, and I thought let's get Joe back on, man. How you been, Joe?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Like I say, we've proper football started last week, so I'm all right. Dad, to be honest, mate, I'm pretty depressed about the whole situation at the minute, like because we have positives, and then you've got little old Bournemouth nicking players from underneath our noses, but that's the pull of the Premier League, right? Like it is what it is. Max Aaron's gone there, and then now Willie Gnonto's refusing to play against Shrewsbury Town to move to Everton under Sean Dyche. But ultimately, you know, this is why when everyone said to me, Joe, it'll do us good to reset in the Championship and go again. No, it wouldn't. And it's proving to be that case because no one wants to play for us anymore, mate. So, I'm just worried there's going to be more. That's the thing. Somerville, Sinistera, Jack Harrison, Tyler Adams is going to Chelsea. So it's like until the window shuts, you cannot relax when you're in this division. When you've dropped out of the Premier League because you know that the vultures are circling. So yeah, not great.
Oh,
and we haven't won yet. So I mean, we've only played one, but yeah, we didn't win.
Mate, it's we're going to come back to it 100%. Mr. Asprey. Dave, big game at the weekend for you and I. Looking forward to that one. Looking forward to seeing you. Trying to get my own back, mate. Trying to get my own back home. What happened at the end of last season? But
yeah, there is I'm good. It's nice to be back. I'm like a boil that you just can't lance. Here I am again, and it's and as I say before we started, if Forest get relegated, then it won't carry that much in the way of personal consequences because Leeds got relegated, and look who's next to me. Right, so he's here, so that's good. But no, I'm good. I'm looking forward to Arsenal's revenge mission at the weekend, and they probably the second worst fixture we could have had to start our season. But no, really looking forward to the trip. I'm going to have to get up about 4:00 to sort of get to Nottingham and get picked up. But yeah, really looking forward to it, Dan, and hoping to meet your good self, mate.
Of course you will, man. Yeah, it's nice when they put a 12:30 on and
yeah,
you've got to travel all that way, and it's very nice. Always think about the fans, don't they? Always think about the fans. Emilio, welcome back to the show, bro. Last time we were on, Fulham were down and in the dumps, and so were yourself. Silva's going, and Mitrovic is off to Saudi, and I don't quite know what is happening. Willian, I mean, what's all that about? We can discuss in a bit. But how are you, mate? First of all.
Yeah, pretty good. Glad to be back on. You know, it was nice to do that show a few weeks ago. But I do remember saying at the time, let's dismiss all this speculation until it's fact. It's not real. And I was very positive that Mitrovic, all this nonsense about him going would go away. Silva was, if he hadn't signed that contract 2 or 3 attempts, he's not going to say he's committing to the club. So I was quite positive, saying, no, until it's real, I don't believe all this nonsense. And to be honest, it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy transfer window. I'd like to have seen a few more signings, but to Joe's point, the transfer window goes to another 3 weeks away. So there's still going to be more ups and downs, more players go. Maybe Mitrovic will go at some point in the next few weeks. But whilst he's fit and he's paid by Fulham, I expect him to be starting on Saturday. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. It's going to be turbulent. I think Dave, both Daves, in fact, and others, I think we're going to have a bit of an interesting season. So it's looking forward to a few ups and downs. But if we can achieve what we did last year and finish 10th, I'd be amazed to go. It's going to be a harder second season, but we'll see. There's worse teams out there, so hopefully we can do enough just to stay up there. Both Daves, we're relying on you to do us a favour. So you're dropping some points.
It's a long way, man. Long way yet, and it's
buy you a few pints.
Yeah, man. Long way to go. Only just starting. Welcome to Dave from When the Town podcast. Thank you so much for being our Luton Town rep. Big up Luton. And I'm so pleased to see you in the Premier League. What an unbelievable story that is, man. Dave, welcome to the channel.
Thank you for having me on. Do you know what? I'm still riding that crest of a wave, aren't I? I don't know what's coming to hit us at this moment in time. All I know is we're going to enjoy every single second we manage to stay up. If we stay up, fantastic. If we don't, we'll regroup. But for the moment, we're just going in with our eyes wide open, to be fair. And looking forward to the start because we've been building it up. I've seen our club break our transfer record 4 times in the space of 3 weeks. and it's nowhere near the money that Nottingham Forest spend or any other top of the Premier League could spend. But, for me, it's a big thing. So, I think we're in with a good shout. We'll have to wait and see, but I can't wait for it to all get started. Literally can't wait.
Man. Neither can I. You're the team I'm looking at, man. I can't lie. I don't know what to expect. And I think, Dave will tell you, and so will Emilio, and to be fair, Joe, how much you need to enjoy it, because you don't know how long it's going to last every single weekend.
So true.
And, people start saying, don't they, oh, we got Arsenal and then Man United. Hey, enjoy it. This is what you wanted. You wanted the Premier League. This is what it is all about. So we're going to touch on that in a little while as well. First of all, big up to Sam. If you haven't seen last night's show, come check it out. Joe is not happy with Sam because
I'm not
happy with Sam because Bournemouth are nicking his players. They got Max Aarons today as well, and Alex Scott.
Yeah.
Bournemouth are flying, Joe.
Yeah, and do you know what as well? Like Iriola was the manager that we wanted last season, but unfortunately Rayo Vallecano wouldn't release him at the time, and then we've gone down, and he's gone to Bournemouth, and then Kirkes, the left back we were linked with for a long time, so and they tried to get Bielsa, so like. Whoever owns them obviously clearly likes that brand, because Iriola actually played for Bielsa at Bilbao and plays a similar brand, if you like. I think for me, just on Bournemouth, it's only a joke with Sam, but I think they're going to really surprise a few people this season. I think a lot of people will just assume it's the same, but the likes of Billings, Solanke, plus the additions they've made, I think they'll look a really good outfit for what it's worth this season. So I'm excited to watch them. They're actually a team along with Luton as well, and I want to see how Kompany gets on with Burnley. No disrespect to Sheffield United, but you're selling Sanderberg to your relegation rival. It blows my mind. I think they're done. But I'm really looking forward to Bournemouth, to be honest, mate.
Yeah, 100%, man. Apologies in advance for my audio issues. My headset is absolutely busted, and I'm making do with what as I can. So I hope you can all hear me.
You sound fine, mate. People just whinging for the sake of it, bro.
Dan,
You sound fine.
Cool.
It sounds like, is it Toto Wolff's headset, mate, or something like that?
Mate, that's nothing to do with me. Yeah, it's because my audio is so good, and then my I don't want to blame her, bless her, because she didn't mean to do it. But my niece come in and to my podcast room and started mucking around. And she's totally run the wheels on all my wires on my audio. I'm like, oh no! So
I hope she's grounded, Dan. I hope she's been grounded.
She's banned from this room now, bless her. But here we go. People are saying they can hear me fine, so maybe it's just the audio on a couple of people's guys. Listen, let's talk Harry Kane. I know that it doesn't affect any of us on this pod, but it is quite funny to talk about. They are an absolute shambles of a club. I don't like them, but let's talk and laugh for a little while. This is an absolute mess. Emilio, I'm going to come to you, and I'll tell you why I'm going to come to Emilio first. Because there was a couple of people that were talking to me that we did, and we clipped up the highlights of the show. We did it at the end. Emilio, overrated Harry Kane? What's going on here? You think Harry Kane's overrated? What's happening? What's going on? All of my Tottenham mates, all my football mates, I can't believe him. He must have been trolling. He must have been mucking around. So thoughts on that, Emilio, and then obviously Harry Kane. I mean, he looks like he's staying at Tottenham now. What a waste of a month! He might as well have just said that at the start. I don't want Bayern Munich, and all this could have stopped. Very bizarre situation, Emilio.
Yeah, very bizarre. No, I wasn't wrong. Look, he screwed up for England in the World Cup. At the end of the day, he had the time to step up, show what he was worth. He screwed up in the big stage. So look, I was proved right. He is overrated. Just because he's English, he's that value, to be honest with you. So, but what do you do? He's pissing around, wasting people's time. 1 minute you want to leave, you don't want to leave. Someone was asking me, Emma Reynolds, I think she's watching tonight, saying, would you bench him? He's mucking the club around here. So what do you want to do? Do you want to stay? Do you want to go? He needs to win trophies. He's 29, 30 years of age. You've got to start stepping up and prove you're actually that world-class player that everyone thinks you're. You're not a world-class player. You've won sod all, haven't done anything for England, and you keep effing up, excuse my French, on the big stage like he did at the World Cup last year. So Bayern Munich, take him away. Take him out of the Premier League so we can focus on other players. I don't like him like that. Don't like him at all. Wow. Sorry, I find him very patronising, arrogant. And he's won. How many trophies has he won in his career? Big fat 0. So sorry, Tottenham fans, if you don't like it, switch off. But don't like Harry Kane. And I'm entitled to an opinion, so don't like the fella at all. Sorry, don't like him at all.
I mean,
Tottenham
like,
can keep him. If he's messing around, that's their problem, not ours. It gives us a better chance to actually get closer to Tottenham, I guess, because they're going to have a shock of a season at this rate.
yeah, I mean, I think you need to get off the fence, Emilio.
It's true.
Mate, you've made your opinion.
Yeah, I don't like him, but it's taking the mick, really, to be honest with you. No player is. I keep saying this. No player is bigger than any club. But it's Harry Kane for Tottenham, Mitrovic for Fulham, whoever it may be. No person is bigger than their own clubs, and if these people like that behaviour needs to be stamped out immediately. That's why if Mitrovic wants to go, then the door's there. I said that a few weeks ago, but he's had a pat on the back from the manager. You know, the manager's now staying at the club. Mitrovic is now focusing. He's fit, and hopefully will start on Saturday. And Harry Kane, you know, you're not bigger than Tottenham Hotspur. As much as we don't like Tottenham Hotspur, he's not bigger than the club, and that's fact. Sorry, I don't care what anyone says.
Listen, Joe, I'll come to you because you know you were smiling all the way through Emilio's little rant there. Go for it, man. What's your thoughts on this Harry Kane stuff?
It's not overrated, is he? I don't know about that, man.
On the big stage, though, Joe. Come on, I always say you value a world-class player when you can deliver trumps, you can win trophies, and you do the job for your country as well. You know, look at his record. Look at his scoring record against top 6-7 teams in the countries in the world. Anyone can score against Albania, Malta, and all that. What's his record against Spain, Germany, France, Italy, Brazil? Someone go away and do that statistic for me, and I'll hopefully be proved wrong. But that's when your difference between a world-class striker and a good striker. He's a good striker. He's not a world-class striker.
No, because I think if you, who's close to him? I mean, you've got Lewandowski. You know, you've got the likes of Benzema and that, but Kane for me belongs in that company. I don't think that's that wild to say that, Emilio. So to say he's overrated, like where you putting him? Is he similarly to Mitrovic? Is that what we're saying?
No, he's obviously better than Mitrovic. I just don't see him being that world class striker. When I say overrated, everyone keeps labeling him as world class. He's got a lot to prove to be classified in that league. Lewandowski and all that being world class. I don't see him being world class yet.
I do think
maybe really. I think it's mad.
You know,
I think world class needs to be defined. I do think that nobody can tell me what the definition of world class is. I've had this debate with so many people, and then I had 7 lads with me when I said this. Well, it's obvious what world class is. All 7 of them said something different. So, what is world class? It means you can get into a world 11. No, it doesn't. It means you're the top 5 in your position. No, it doesn't. It means that you can get in any side in the world. No, so no one knows what it is then, basically. So I think he's quality. I think he's top quality. I think I disagree with Emilio, and I'm a gooner. I can't stand him either. But I just think 30 goals in a poor Tottenham side. He's going to beat the record of Alan Shearer if he stays in England, which it looks like he's going to now. Joe, I think he is top quality. I understand what Emilio's saying in terms of the national team. I get that, but I do think he's class, man.
Do you know what? I actually love this switch by Kane anyway, me personally, because if anyone's messed anyone around, then Enoch and Dan Levy are the ones that have messed Harry Kane around. And it's almost like his last hurrah, in a way, to say to Daniel Levy, all right, that's how it is. Do you know, for me, Kane stay. I think, you know, we were talking about in the WhatsApp group, there'll be a lot of fans that will suddenly expect him to potentially have a change of heart and maybe stay at Spurs. But for me, he's holding out, and so he should for that sign-on clause, because, and this is what proves for me that he is world class, that any of the top 6 sides would take him in a heartbeat. City tried to get him, knowing that a year later Haaland would be free. They didn't. They pushed as much as they did, even knowing that Haaland was available. And I think that has to be something you have to take into consideration, because had they have got Kane, would they have then gone after Haaland? Probably not. So it's almost as if, and I know this might sound a bit of a wild take now, but Kane was his preferred choice, in effect. It wasn't, you know, until they got priced out of it or whatever, and then they moved to Kane. But for me, Man United would take him, Chelsea would take him, I know Arsenal would take him. Like, that would be the maddest thing. So he leaves on a free next season, and Man United, it's destined for Man United. It's destined for Man United. And then I'll join you, mate, because I can't stand Man United, so I'll be going, he's overrated. but yeah, it is what it is.
Listen, I'll bring this one up, Dave Asprey. But I've got to say Dave Asprey now, and I.
Yeah. DA and DG now.
DA and DG, yeah. Listen, Gooners 85 has said, is he going to go sign a new contract with Tottenham or leave on a free next season? I think he's going to leave on a free next season, isn't he, Dave?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I've been on so many shows and spent so much time talking about Tottenham Hotspur. This to me is just another episode of like just demonstrating to the whole world what a dysfunctional business and organisation Tottenham Hotspur is. In fact, on one show, I got accused of being a typical Tottenham Hotspur fan, and I said, "Why is that?" Because I don't support them. You know what I mean? So with Harry Kane, if I was a Tottenham supporter, I want him gone, and I'd want my 100 million or 105 million, right? I don't want to be thinking a year down the line, Dan, oh, all the money we could have had while watching him walk out the door to, and as Joe's bang on, to Manchester United. I think Manchester United is the best fit for him. But the whole thing's a farce. If I was a Tottenham supporter now, I'd be like, what is going on? It's becoming a laughing stock. You know, I mean, what I would say about Kane is that the debate about his sort of place in the pantheon, that can be debated till the cows come home. And as you say, you ask however many what their definition of that phrase is, and you'll get umpteen different answers. But I remember going to that stadium last year and thinking to myself, where would this have been built, this huge edifice with the incredible toilets, with the hand dryers and the lovely fish and chips? And that's something to look forward to, Dave Gregory, by the way. So lovely. Would there any of this have been built if Harry Kane had never played for Tottenham? Because you take away 80 odd goals, and that leaves a big hole in Tottenham Hotspur's history. So, I mean, the way I look at it, I mean, I don't know one way or the other whether he's like said yes to Bayern Munich or what. What I would say is that there are more dimensions to this than just purely football. I mean, from what I can gather, you know, Harry's got 3 beautiful daughters. He's got a family. I think he might have another one on the way. You know, and so there are big issues for him to discuss with his family and to work out the best thing for his children, because when all's said and done, his children are more important to him than his football. Oh, they should be. It would be in my life. You know, so the whole thing has rumbled on far too long. It's expended far too much energy. And I actually feel sorry for what I think is a really good manager in Ange Postecoglou. I think he's walked into that, and he's not been allowed to get on with the job of resetting Tottenham Hotspur. And like, you know, I've had stick for saying Ange Postecoglou is a good guy. I think he's an excellent guy. If we're going to put Tottenham Hotspur in context, Ange Postecoglou left a Champions League group stage team to go to a team that didn't even qualify for Europe. So he stepped down in some ways. I know people will say about the Scottish Premier League, oh, it's rubbish and all that, and he's Australian and all that. It's nonsense. I just feel he's been overshadowed, not been. I mean, Ange, to Ange's credit, he'll probably be quietly going about his business behind the scenes, but this thing needs sorting out. I mean, you know, it's bizarre. And it needs to be sorted. He needs to say where he wants to be, and Tottenham need to sort of say where they want him to be. End of story. Move on.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm with you. It is becoming a little bit boring. There's a couple of things I want to say before I bring Dave G in. White Hart Lane N17, big up yourself, man, says that, Dan, they're reporting that he will still go now. His brother's his agent and his dad are tonight in talks with Bayern Munich. And they're just ironing out a few financial things. So this could still happen according to him. So, you know, and he's obviously a Spurs fan, so he knows his stuff. So this is not dead in the water for me. I just wanted to touch, Dave, and bring this to your attention, because Michael Owen has got involved with football, which is something he should never really do. He's a good player, but there's not much since he's talked out since he's retired, if I'm honest with you. And I think this is probably one of the most disrespectful things you can say about a football club, in my opinion. But he's basically put out a tweet saying, I know Bayern Munich are a massive club and I have huge respect for them. But if I were Kane, I'd stay put. There's no great achievement in winning a trophy with them. Real Madrid, I would understand, or 1 or 2 top Premier League clubs for that matter. Becoming the all-time Premier League top goal scorer is a bigger achievement than winning the league in a country dominated by one team. I just think that is so disrespectful to Bayern Munich, who for me are one of the greatest football. They're like the football elite for me. It's not like, I just think this, and a lot of people are doing this. Oh, the Bundesliga 11 in a row. What real achievement is that for Harry Kane? Harry Kane will go and win a Bundesliga. He will probably go and win a domestic cup with them, and he will probably have an unbelievable chance of winning the Champions League. And I'm not even joking when I say that, because he lifts Bayern Munich. People will say, I had Mo on the channel earlier saying, yeah, but Goretzka and Gnabry, they've not really been doing it. They haven't. But Harry Kane will lift those players and put them in an unbelievable chance, along with Real Madrid and Man City, of winning the Champions League, in my opinion. And I think that if you look back and you say, I was the Premier League top goal scorer, or look at my trophy cabinet, it's got Bundesligas, Champions Leagues, and domestic cups in it, which one would you rather have? I just think Michael Owen has got it completely wrong there, Dave. But maybe I'm the one who's wrong. What's your thoughts on that?
I think he needs to make the move, personally. He hasn't literally done anything with Tottenham, really, and I don't think he's fulfilled his full potential as a player. I mean, Emilio, you said he's overrated. I don't believe he's overrated. I think he's a good player. But I genuinely feel that he needs to do something. And if he's just running down his contract for a better offer and walks out on a signing on fee that's a mega amount of money, does he really need that money? Or does he want to professionally win something? Because at the moment, it doesn't look like Tottenham will. So I think he'll go eventually. If he doesn't go now, he'll definitely go at the end of the season money. He'll go, like you guys said really already, Man U or a top 6 team. But I think he'd do well to go to Bayern. Why not? He'll go to Europe and win some trophies. Absolutely win some trophies. Why not?
Yeah, and I think it's crazy when people make those remarks personally. I mean, look at what Bayern Munich have won. Someone's put in the chat there, they won the Champions League not long ago. It would be a great opportunity for him, and I think he lifts him completely. Now, we'll find out, won't we, what mentality Harry Kane has. Emilio stuck the boot in, bless him, and fair play to him. He stuck his neck out on the line, and that's what he believes. And we'll see the mentality of Harry Kane. We'll see if he is quite, I need to go and win trophies, or do you know what, let me just stay at Tottenham now and see my career out, or whatever it be. I think if I had to put money on it, I think he probably will end up at a Premier League side next season on a free transfer, whether it be Chelsea under Poch, whether it be Manchester United, as Joe thinks, or whether he does a Sol Campbell 2.0 and goes to Arsenal on a free. Please, that would be absolutely hilarious. I'd love it forever. Listen, let's move from Harry Kane, because we have got a lot to get through tonight. I want to talk about predictions in a little while, but I want to kind of get a feel to where you're at the moment, because all of you are in a position at the moment where I suppose, well, you guys tell me, I suppose all of you are a little bit nervy. All of you know that you may be in a position where you might be looking down thinking, oh, we ain't here too long. Some of you might have an unbelievable start, like Emilio has said last season, and go, I'm still not there yet. I still need to be safe. So let's go around and see how you are all feeling. I'm going to come to Dave last. I'm going to start with you, Emilio. Thoughts on Fulham, business you've done, players in, players out, and what sort of season you think you're going to be having, mate?
It's been it's been a turbulent transfer window with all the speculation about Silva going. He's now committed to staying at the club, so that's a massive positive. That needed to be secured, 2 or 3 months ago, even last season. The worry that he hasn't signed an extension, to me, says he's probably on his last season here and probably going to move on in 12 months' time, because his contract comes to an end next year. But he's got Mitrovic. The fact that everyone was ruling us out a month or so ago. Mitrovic going, Silva going, Paulinho going to West Ham and all that. We would have had basically not even a starting 11 a month ago if you listen to the media. But we've managed to keep the owners, give them credit to some extent. They've secured Silva. He's staying at the club. Mitrovic is likely to still stay there. Paulinho is going nowhere. We've managed to keep Willian for another year. I'd like to have seen a few more transfers. To be honest, we've got Jimenez from Wolves. I think is a good backup striker. I think he'll be I think he'll add a bit of quality, expertise, good hold-up play. I think that's a bargain at 5 million. Bassey's coming in to shore up that central defence. I think he's for 18 million in this current climate. That's another bargain. But where are these other signings? I just would have expected a little bit more depth in the squad. I was hoping that Ward-Prowse was going to be coming to Fulham, but seemingly there's been no interest expressed there. He's going to West Ham. Fred, there was 2 months worth of speculation about we're going to get Fred from Man United. Today, apparently that's now off the table because we couldn't negotiate wages. So I still think there's 3 weeks, and we traditionally do our transfers the back end of the August rather than the pre-season. But I'm still hopeful there'll be 2 or 3 more signings. We need to add depth to that squad. And if we don't sell any of these key players, and then I think I think we will survive. I think there's worse teams in this division. We've still got the good brand of football that we're playing. Had a reasonable pre-season, despite we had many injuries, lack of transfers, and speculation about people leaving the club. So overall, I think Fulham fans will bite everyone's hand off and say, actually, we're lucky we've still got Silva, Paulinho, we've still got Mitrovic, players coming back from injury, Tim Ream, Pereira, all back from injury. And we've signed William. I actually think I'm more positive than I was a month ago, but I think many fans will say the same as me. Looking forward to the season. It's going to be a challenge, but I think we're good enough to stay in that division. It's just, can we achieve mid-table? Remains to be seen. We'll see. But at the end of the day, it's still about survival. Let's be frank. You want to stay in this division and compete week in, week out against these big teams. And, Dave G, enjoy the ride, because I'm hoping you stay up. I do hope you stay up, because I think I'd like to see those small clubs go from nowhere to the big time like we were, 20 years ago. So wish you all the best, guys, and enjoy the season. But yeah, it's going to be a roller coaster ride. It's going to be, but we have to. So 6 pointers. I keep hanging on about last season and saying again. Last season, our record against the bottom 7, I think, we're very, 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 very strong. We've got to do the same against this year and get a few points on the board early. But we'll see. It's going to be an interesting ride, but I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know,
100%, man.
Can I just, Emilio? Yeah, it's my, because I had Fulham tip for the drop. I only think one of the 3 promoted teams stays up, and I was saying, like, with Chess, like, Fulham were, it is not, to be honest. Don't worry. But I was saying that Fulham were going to go for the drop, especially when you considered the Silva, the Mitrovic. I actually think you were, like, outperforming your numbers as well last season. I think you agreed with that to an extent as well. I remember chatting about it, but I think the fact that you've kept Silva, Mitrovic stuff's gone quiet, and I would argue there's an even worse state of a club in Wolves. They're now the team that I think will drop. So I think just with the basket case that seems to be with Wolves at the minute, I think you're going to be all right, which is happy days, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
Man.
I'm confident we'll get a few more signings before the end of the transfer window.
And you dodged a bullet without Aronson, because I know you were linked to him, and you dodged a bullet because he's terrible. Terrible.
You're supposed to say he's quality, Joe, so they sign him.
He somehow ended up at a Champions League club in Union Berlin, so I don't know how he's worked that one out, but there you go.
Fair play. I'm not a huge fan. Listen, welcome back. One of my favourite footballing girls. What you saying, Nats?
Hello. It's very nice we're back. Very short absence. It was we hoped it was going to be a year, and it was. We are back. And this time, we're not absolutely stinking out the Premier League. We're going to be a much better entity than the one that left it. I can assure you that. But yeah, good to be back. Nice to see you all again.
Yeah, great to see you, Nats, as ever. Let's move to you, because you kick us off, man. You kick off the Premier League tomorrow night against a not a half decent bad side.
You're all right, I guess.
But it's on the lights, man. Everyone will be zoomed in because it's Kompany back to City, and exactly. I'm really interested to see what you're about, because your style of football was, from what I hear, very attractive and not something that people replicate Burnley with, without being horrible to Dyche. But exciting times, I guess, for you.
Very, very exciting times. I'm not sure any of us realised how much we needed the phoenix that we have become. Dyche very rightly takes his place as one of the greatest managers we've ever had, and he is an absolute legend. I adore him. But his time at the club had come to a natural end, and it was time for everybody to move on. We had new owners came in. They very much wanted to they had a vision, a very modern vision. They knew the style of football that they wanted to play. They wanted to get American investment in, which they've succeeded in doing. JJ Watt is one of our owners. He doesn't buy into Burnley Football Club under Sean Dyche. He just doesn't. Yeah, he just doesn't. And everything has changed. I think there's a reality about life in the Premier League. Number one, we won't be the dominant force we were last season in the Championship. There were very few sides could come anywhere close to us last year. That's not going to be the case this year. So I think there's going to have to be some realism with the way that we play. However, you can't change Vincent Kompany's DNA. He knows how he wants to play. He knows what he wants to do. I guess in that respect, that's the only thing I'm maybe slightly frustrated about getting City first, because everybody will be watching. It's under the turf, more lights. but also it's likely to be a really difficult game where we get a bit of a spanking. And I don't want people to tune in and go, what's all this nonsense we've been hearing about Burnley? That's like, they don't play good football. They've just taken a hammering at City. It was 6-0 in the cup. And actually for 29 and a half minutes, we played really well. So yeah, but then I think overall, I think the fixture gods have been pretty kind to us. It's an absolute free hit. And then of course, next week we don't play because Luton had to postpone our fixture because their ground's not ready. So I kind of feel like we've got an extra 2 weeks on everybody else. We've got an extra 2 weeks to get the group together, no pressure, and get some more transfer business in, and then hopefully show everybody what we're about.
Well, let me stay with you, Nats, because there's a couple of things I want to ask. So,
yeah.
I don't know anybody so far that I've spoken to that has Burnley for the drop. I just don't. I don't know anybody. Now, some people might think that's fair because of how good Kompany was last season. Some people might sit there and go, that's a bit strange because we really don't know what Burnley are going to be about.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, like, with the signings you've made, which you can touch on with what you're happy with in terms of your transfer business, but what are you hoping for as a Burnley fan this season?
The hope is the same as it always is. I'd really love us to stay in the league because we've got ambitions now that are very different to the ones that we've had for the last 10 years. And to enable you to do that, you need the global exposure and the financial benefit that comes with Premier League football. If we do go down straight away, there's no way on God's earth that Burnley sack Kompany, but he's not going to stay for another season in the Championship. So I'd like to stay up for that reason. If we can stop people poaching him in the first, maybe if we can keep him for 3 years, that would be a massive achievement for us. And it will really put us in a very good position to be attractive for other managers and other players to come with us. But the reality is that it's going to be really, really hard. I think some people are maybe not tipping us to go down because the football we're playing, the manager we've got, but also some of the signings that we've made. If we get Aaron Ramsey over the line tomorrow, which we're supposed to be doing from Villa, we'll have spent over 100 million this transfer window.
Wow.
That's Burnley. Burnley spending 100 million. What on earth? So, we're looking at this and thinking, wow, we're obviously doing good things here and we want to stay around. The big one for me, there's a couple of signings that really stuck for me. Getting James Trafford from City, the England under-21 keeper, for 20 million was a huge statement for me. We never get players in the early stages of their careers. We don't get the big... he's being touted for taking Pickford's shirt as number one when he retires. Like, we just don't get those players at this stage in their career. They get poached, they go straight to the powerful teams and they just get them and nurture them and send them on. So that was a statement. Not quite the same headline, but signing Sander Berge from Sheffield United yesterday. What on earth are they thinking?
Class player.
Yeah, he was incredible last season. It's savvy on two respects.
What are they doing though, Sheffield United?
Right? And it's like, first and foremost, central midfield was a position we really needed to strengthen. We've got some good players in there, but we've got Josh Cullen, we've got Josh Brownhill, and now obviously we've got Jack Cork. But I don't expect Jack Cork to feature anymore. I think he's coming to the end of his career. But it's significantly weakened what may very well be a relegation rival. And I think, to me, the business that Sheffield United and Luton are doing smacks of teams that know that they've probably got no chance of staying up. So they're just going to take the financial benefits now, play a season, go back down and do that rolling up and down for a couple of years till they get stronger. That's, to me, slightly defeatist an attitude. And I think that will serve well for us, for Forest, for Wolves, for Everton, for Fulham, who are trying to not be that third side to go down. But I think for me, it was to be able to poach a player of that calibre from a relegation rival. We've never done that before. So it was both savvy and showed that we are very much on an ascendancy.
Interesting, man. Listen, Joe, you mentioned earlier that you were looking forward to seeing what Burnley are all about under Kompany, and I'm kind of there as well. Like, I want to ask you though, do you feel that there is a little bit, not pressure? I suppose pressure is the wrong word, really, because it's Burnley that have just come up that we're talking about. But do you feel like that pressure could get to Vincent Kompany and Burnley? Is my question, I suppose.
No, I think the interesting thing is to what Natalie says is he's only going to play one way, and sometimes you have to change, because we've seen that with Steve Cooper at Forest last season, because he wants to play a certain brand of football, and realised early on, I can't do that. And I guess, it was ultimately the end of Bielsa as well in that respect, when we were getting spanked 5s and 6s, and I'd have kept him anyway, but from the outsider's perspective, it's like you can't continue doing that. So it'll be interesting to see. And the thing is with Kompany as well, like he was at Anderlecht when he before Burnley, and it didn't go too well there. I know he took Kamar Roof from Leeds there, and it didn't go too well. So it'll be interesting to see. It might have just been right manager, right time, and obviously there is a lot of hype, there is a lot of pressure because it is Kompany and it's City and all that story. But I agree with that. Like, the business is mint, and if Kompany's not there, they don't get James Trafford, they don't get these names. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's exciting for them, and it's good to see, man. It's good to see. But yeah, there will be pressure, mate. And I just think the key thing is, like Nat said, it's whether he'll come away from his principles when he needs to. Because if they do get spanked tomorrow and they do get beat a few times, at which point do you have to say, do you know what, we just need to sit in and try and get a point here? Or, it's that
depends on the
sort of
teams,
attitude.
doesn't it?
Yeah, of course.
It's the 6 pointers that Dave was talking about before. Was it Dave? Or was it Emilio? Emilio actually that was talking about those 6 pointers. The results against the powerful 7, possibly 8 now they're not going to define our season, and we might lose all of them. Yeah. You just need 10 wins in the Premier League and you survive. That's all you need.
Yeah. There's a lot of synergies with yourself, Nat, and Fulham when we got promoted 12 months ago, where Silver came in. We were the team to beat in that division. We spanked a lot of teams that year. Silver didn't change his tactics. Very same approach. We reinforced and strengthened in key places. And similarly, we had Liverpool at home first game of the season last year. We drew 2-2. Everyone wrote us off. 4 or 5-0 defeat. We should have won that game. I was disappointed we only got a 2-2 draw. So, I always say best to play the big teams early, because you're on a sort of level playing field in that respect. You're sort of both not 100% fit. The free hit is more of a free hit than you were playing Man City, Liverpool 3 months in, when they're at their peak and really starting to get into rhythm. So you know what? I fancy you getting something out of the game tomorrow night. Man City will not fancy going to Turf Moor. Never an easy place to go, especially on a Friday night. So
you're not the first person who said that to me today, Emilio. You're not. There's a few people that have said today, I just feel like this will be a crazy fixture on tomorrow night. Only you'll get something.
You're very kind. I think we might get a goal.
I don't. Sorry, Nats, I don't. But a lot of people have said that to me.
Alistair Campbell to score a hat-trick, I reckon.
That would be awesome. I mean, I think, you know what? Get me on. I'll lace up and I'll be fine. I don't know what it's worth, and please don't sound like this and just humiliate me, Dan, because I know you little cheeky little scamp. I genuinely don't think it's going to be a 5 or 6-0 like the cup game was, or the previous ones have been. But it was interesting what Joe was saying then about, can Vincent Kompany make the changes when he needs to? He didn't need to for most of last season, but we did see a little bit of it. In the early stages, we were drawing way too many games. We were drawing like 10 or 11 games when we should have been winning. And we were like leading with and conceding in injury time. And he just started in the last 10 minutes of the games for the next sort of 2 or 3 games, just bringing an extra defender on for the last 10 minutes, going 5 at the back, and the opposition had absolutely no chance. So it's not quite as dramatic as maybe you need to do in the Premier League. It was very subtle, but he did show those very small signs that he might be able to be amenable to tweaking it if he knows something's not quite right.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I can tell you one thing, that's you'll have the other 18 clubs that aren't City and Burnley, you're rooting for you. I can tell you that now. I know a lot of people that don't want Man City winning tomorrow night, and as a Gooner, I'm obviously one of those. I wanted to just quickly, before I move to Dave, touch on Lokonga from Arsenal, because a lot of people are asking about him. Big fan Kompany is of Sambi Lokonga. He actually recommended him along with Thierry Henry to Mikel Arteta when over in Belgium, and said, look, this kid's going to be special. He's not done it for Arsenal. He didn't do it for Palace on loan. Is that a signing you'd be happy with? Do you think Vincent Kompany could get something out of him? Because he's obviously seen something in him.
Yeah, we've also been linked to, is it Cole Palmer as well from City?
Oh, really? Man, West Ham are linked
with
him as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, listen, to me, the sheer fact that we're in the conversation for these players is... If we manage to sign either of them, then I'm ripping up the rule book and I'm just starting again this season because I genuinely don't know everything that I've said that I've done. I think it just goes back to what I was saying about James Trafford. This is really exciting for us and it's really unknown because we just don't sign these players. And it's really tough because I don't want to be down on Dyche because he's an amazing guy, but can you imagine Sean Dyche coming in for these players? Like the door was shut to so many of these players. I sit on the fan advisory board at Burnley now. And one of the things that our operations director was telling us not so long ago is that since Vincent Kompany arrived, they've not had to pick up the phone once. Agents and players are calling them saying, we've got X person who wants to play for Kompany. Like, can I come and at least train with you? Can you just take a look? Can I send you a video? And it's like, what? We were just trying to bid 50p in a packet of Frazzles for overpriced championship players for 10 years. And this is unreal. So let's I think we'll get 3 more in before the transfer window's done. I reckon I think we'll top our spending at about 120 million, which is unreal. I'm now also worried we're spending too much money.
Always a worry, isn't there? There's always a worry. No, listen, I hope you have a good season, man, and I hope Kompany does well. And it's a pleasure to have you back on the channel, man, and we'll get to see you weekly now. Amazing. Let's come to Mr. Asprey, because last time we spoke, we got awful first few fixtures. It's not going to be fun, this.
There are opportunities, Daniel.
They are opportunities, my friend. But Dave, what's going on? You haven't made for another 35 signings, mate. What's going on?
Well,
what's going on with Forest?
Forest have decided that they're going to try and have the 2 most contrasting pre-seasons in the history of football. I really like this. I mean, I used to believe that, Oscar Wilde's view that better to be talked about than not talked about, but I'm thinking the opposite this year. And it's been really, looking back over the past 2 seasons for a Forest fan, from bottom of the championship and 1 point from the first 21 to the end of last season, 2 of the most hectic and frenetic seasons any football supporter could ever experience. And I'm quite liking that we're a little bit under the radar. We're almost kind of heading towards that promised land of irrelevance and anonymity that Crystal Palace sit in, and nobody ever speaks about them because they're just 11th. You get a league table template. Crystal Palace is biroed in, and everybody then just pencils in the rest around them. So we are heading for that sort of twilight world of Crystal Palace because nobody's really speaking about us. I mean, where we are at the moment, I'm actually encouraged because we've had a mediocre pre-season. I'd be more worried. Seriously, if we'd had a pre-season where we'd stuffed everybody, I'd be really worried, because we've had pre-seasons like that before, where everybody's going, look at Forest, hype, hyperbole, you name it. Here come Nottingham Forest, they've done this, that, and the other, to Burton Albion, Port Vale, Crewe, Alexandra, you name it. And then when the real serious stuff, the stuff that matters, that has points on it, starts, Forest then just flattered to deceive. So I'm kind of happier that there's none of that. There's no complacency. There's no hype. In reality, our pre-season has lasted from August the 6th last year, when we went to Newcastle, first game of the season, to now. Really, we used our first season in the Premier League as a pre-season. And it took until Liverpool away in April of last year for our side to coalesce and become cohesive. And from that point on, you saw it yourself down at the City Ground when we broke the record for the least amount of possession and beat a Champions League qualifier and a title contender, right? And actually deservedly on the day. I'm not partisan, but so I think the vast majority of our work for this season was done over the course of last season. So the side that goes out at the Emirates for that mountainous task on Saturday dinner time won't be too dissimilar to what finished last season. I mean, last year we were a standing joke. We were on TalkSport. People were losing their minds over how dare Nottingham Forest spend 25 million more than Burnley have spent this year, right? Because we spent 145 last year. Now, how dare Nottingham Forest muscle their way into this elite of 6 clubs that the only people that Sky and TalkSport want to talk about, right? And our upstart nature really offended them. How dare they sign Jesse Lingard? He should be, and what he. This year it's different. We've signed Anthony Elanga.
How did Jesse Lingard get on? How did he?
He's fantastic around the club as a social ambassador for the club. Wonderful, bringing the team together. Absolutely amazing. His football. Well, let's not dwell on that.
How much did you pay him, Dave?
I think of the 145 million, Joe, I think it was about 143 million we spent on Jesse Lingard. So I may be wrong. I'm not great with figures. Obviously, at my age, the mind starts to wander. But the thing is, somebody said to me, "Ooh, Asprey, you've only signed 3." I said, "Don't you worry. Stevie Cooper's got 27 he's going to unveil next Thursday. So keep your eyes peeled." But no, I like the fact that, I've seen Steve's press conference today before the defeat at Arsenal on Saturday, because that's what it's going to be. And he was like batting away questions and neutralising every loaded question. He was fantastic. And he is our, like Vincent is at Burnley. I love Vincent. Vincent is charismatic. He's sophisticated. He's modern. He's unbelievably articulate. There are some people who you just look at and see the word leader emanating from them. There's a glow from Vincent. I think Steve's got it, not to the same film star looks that Vincent's got it, but I think Steve's got it. And I like the fact that nobody's really talking about it. I've watched umpteen previews, right, from people who know what they're on about, and then people who play FIFA who don't. And basically, at the moment, nobody's got Burnley going down, and I think that's right, because I don't think Burnley will go down. And nobody's got us going down. Now, I thought they'd have us in there because we did hang around like a bad smell a little bit at the start of last season. But people seem to think that we're going to build a little bit. To be honest with you, Dan, I'm going to repeat myself to the point of being boring. 17th will do me, because their 17th means a second season, a third season this time in the Premier League. So like Nat, if Nat wants 17, Dave wants 17. 17th for clubs of our ilk who know where we are in the food chain, and don't delude ourselves that we're more than we actually are. Emilio the same. We all want to be. Somebody said to me, "What do you want from Forest?" I said, "I'd really like to be going to that lot again come August of 2024, and that's all that matters." Yeah. So I sit with us. I've been put on the spot, and I said 15th, right? And I think that's where we'll be. We are in a relegation battle, right, straight away. So nobody can ever accuse me of saying, "Oh, that Dave Asprey thinks Forest are a bit better." No, we're in a relegation battle. In fact, myself and these 3 lovely people below me, we're all in a relegation battle, right? So we start with that as a base point. Ideally, I'd like 12th, 13th or 14th would be amazing. But I go back to Brighton and Hove Albion, who I, as a Forest fan, would like my club to aspire to be, because I think they're the best run club in the country, pound for pound. Right, yeah, a brilliant owner in Tony Bloom, a great manager in De Zerbi, an amazing scouting. Brighton are the best at succession planning in this country, certainly in the Premier League. Only Brentford are probably the next one behind them, right? And I'd like Forest. Villa have done it as well. I'd like Forest to have ended up being like that. But Brighton's first 3 seasons in the Premier League, they finished 16th, 17th, and 15th, and then they took off. And that's what I'd like us to do. So to me, I'm happy with where we are. I think there'll be, like is the case with Natalie and the case with Emilio and the case with Dave, there'll be 2 or 3 more coming in. But it's really, what I'm hoping is that we have some equilibrium and some calm after the freneticism of the last 2 years. So yeah, I'm okay. It's going to be a battle. Our first 4 away, right, are Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, and Manchester City, with 2 colossal games at home, Sheffield United and Burnley. And we've also now got Burnley and Carabao, so it's getting to know you with Burnley in September. So I think the way I look at those.
How many points, Dave, out of that then? How many points do you reckon how many games was that? First 6?
None away.
How many are you going to get there,
Dave? 4. Which is what we got from the first 6 last year.
Okay.
The thing is with these giants, like it's been said before, what better time to play them now? Yeah. Right. I'd rather be playing them now, and they're incredible. I remember a few years ago. Natalie will back me up on this. A few years ago in the Premier League, Burnley went to Chelsea on the opening day and beat them 3-2. What a statement that was. Now, if Forest can go to Arsenal, I don't see it happening. Or if Forest could go to Manchester United, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening anyway. But if Forest were to get something at one of those, that's a great platform. And while
But
I've been
on the flip side, Dave,
yeah, absolutely.
If you played Sheffield United and you get beat, then them games, I'm thinking, oh God, but you're going down. You know what I mean? You're going down. Come join us.
Yeah. Mate, we had 23 years of the Championship, and while it was fun in some regards, we were always itching to be that echelon above.
16,
so it's going to be very, very tough. But knowing you're in a battle is half the battle. I think it's like for us. I'd like a lull after the last 2 years of storms, really.
Quickly ask you, Dave, before I move to the other Dave. God, it's confusing, isn't it? Matt Turner from Arsenal. You got Matt Turner, and it sounds like he's going to start against us. He was lifted a Community Shield plate last Sunday. Now this Saturday he's going to be playing against us. I know you wanted Dean Henderson. There's rumours that you still might go in for him as well. Are you happy with Matt Turner?
Yeah, I am happy with Matt Turner. Based on his initial interview that he gave yesterday, comes across as a really good lad. He'll fit in socially. I've seen the training session that they've done today. He's well involved. He'll absolutely play on Saturday. Had Dean arrived, before now, I think Dean would have started, but I think Matt will play. And it's just one of those strange little coincidences in life, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I think he'll be fine. I mean, he didn't play that often for Arsenal, but he's an international goalkeeper. He played in the World Cup. In fact, Forest have now got America's number 1 and number 2 because we've got Horvath as well, who Dave will obviously know. And I actually still can't believe Luton haven't come for Ethan Horvath after last season. So, I'm happy with Turner. I want Henderson. There's also talk about Kasper Schmeichel as well. So,
really?
He's at Nice. No, he's in Nice. He was with Ross Barkley, I think, in Nice for a while. So, Kasper Schmeichel's been mentioned. I want Dean. I mean, if you'd have seen Dean Henderson all of last season, you wouldn't have known he was a Manchester United player. He was celebrating like mad when Forest stayed up, so I'd like Dean. And then
is there no chance of Navas, mate? Because he was phenomenal for you last season, wasn't he?
He was terrific. His best game for us was his first game against Leeds, where he made 2 unbelievable saves. The first one from Nonto. He was absolutely amazing, So
why did you do that? I know what you do. Dave's the silent assassin, you see. Dave pretends to be all friendly, but really he just leaves little bombs all the time. I know his game.
As you can see, I live alone. I need to tell you no more than that. All right.
David De Gea, make it David De Gea, Dave. He's a free transfer.
Hey, Don, you laugh and joke, mate, but my old man was going, hey, that lad at Manchester United's available. And I went, hang on a minute. I thought you meant Harry Maguire, but he meant David De Gea. You know what I mean? So, I think I'm happy with where we are at the moment, but it's going to be very tough. Very tough.
Yeah, it will be tough, man. It will be tough. And talking about tough, Dave,
coming to me now, aren't you?
Luton. Listen, it is going to be tough. I'm not going to sit there and beat around the bush. I think you know that. But out of everybody on here, I know Natalie's excited. I know Dave's always excitable. And Emilio Lau, you must be absolutely buzzing, man. I'm so looking forward to what your season holds. I think it's the greatest story I've heard in a long time in terms of you making it into the Premier League. I don't know what you've done transfer-wise, so fill me in. And what are you like? What would be a good season for you? Are you with Dave? 17th, please give me it now. Snap your hand off.
I'll snap your hand off with that, totally. 100% take the 17th. But we're under no illusions. Every single team has written us off, really. All the pundits have written us off. And so we're on a free hit. We can go up there and we can just play our game. And, Natalie, we gave Burnley 2 really good games last season.
You did.
A 1-1, and we narrowly lost at home. And we finished there on merit, didn't we? We finished 3rd on merit. We finished 10 points above the team we beat in the Championship playoff. We finished 14 points in front of West Brom and the likes. And it was declared a rubbish league. Every time we achieved something, everyone says, "Well, the league couldn't have been that good because you've done something really good yourself." Yeah, but it gets on your nerves. And I think on TalkSport the other day, Jermaine Pennant burst out laughing when someone said, I think Luton could have a chance of staying up, and he just laughed. And you're just thinking, well, have some respect. But we're under no illusion that this is going to be a really, really tough season. But, most of us are hoping that we get those 10 wins somewhere. Most of us are hoping, But and I just listened to you shout numbers up, 140 million, 120 million. I've just added up what we've probably spent that's been disclosed, and it's around 25 million. So, and even that's a huge amount of money for the football club.
It was the same when we first went up, Dave. That very first year we went up. I know how you feel.
12 million on just updating the football stadium. It'll look different when you see it, by the way. You won't. The views in the home end, on the away end, are going to be even more terrible because there's extra posts going in. But we talk about genuine. You're not going to like it. You're going to get down there and there's extra floodlight pilots in and the VAR cameras. So your view is going to be really, really bad.
Dave, are the shops on the far side, are they still open, those boutiques? Are they still there?
All of them, everything's open, mate. I tell you now. And they all think the Premier League's going to bring the extra business in. That's why they're staying there, isn't it? I think overall, when you look at our signings, and it's already been said, are we preparing for the ultimate relegation? I don't know. Mads Anderson, 5 million from Barnsley. I think he's got a lot of promise. Chong, who tore us apart a couple of seasons ago for Birmingham. And for me, the one that we had to secure was Marvelous Nakamba, because last season he was the pivot for us. He was a genuinely brilliant signing. And then I can't believe we signed Ryan Giles and we signed Issa Kabore. And then you're right. Why didn't we keep Horvath? Well, maybe the defence was better than the keeper last season. Maybe, that was the reason. And I would ask you the same. If he was brilliant, why wasn't he in Nottingham Forest first team? That's what I would say. Why wouldn't he be in your first team?
Good point.
That. So I was quite surprised we didn't take up the offer, by the way. I think it was only about 1.5 million at the time. But Kaminsky's come in from Blackburn. And obviously the one that Brown from Stoke. So we signed 9 players.
What about Cody Drama, Dave? Are you going in for Cody, or is Kabore the one?
We don't understand why we haven't got him. We really don't understand. He was so good. Like I nearly said something else. He was so good last season. So good.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, well, if Leeds stay up, then he's not going to go. He's going to go back to Leeds. But are they not talking about him not staying at the moment?
Yeah, it's mad really, because he's not played yet. He's had he got a bit concussion. He came on for about 10-15 minutes last night for Luke Ayling. But yeah, the mad thing is we tried to sign Max Aarons, and obviously right back. I know Max Aarons can play left as well, but I think the writing's on the wall. But the fact that you bought, is it Kabore? He plays right back, right?
He's on loan from Manchester.
Yeah. So I was thinking, because I can't see anyone else unless Sheffield United might dip. That might be so, because I don't think he'd be that much either, Dave. I was quite surprised myself that you didn't take him, to be honest.
I don't think there was any option there at the time.
Right.
I mean, I think as supporters, we were thinking, well, we're going to get him for definite because he was a class player last season and performed way better than we thought he would. And so it's just, these sort of things for me as a supporter, coming from the old Division 1 down to non-league and back up again. This is just going to be an amazing season. And if we manage to pull off a miracle, how great will that be? And you've already said tonight, look at Brighton, look at Brentford. Why can't we follow that model? We're a well-run club. We've got some really good people in charge. We've got a new stadium coming in a couple of years' time. I mean, they're going to start building that this season. It's a shame that it's not built because, that I think then your plight changes a bit. So we're all up for it. And I think that's the point. And, we look at our opening fixture on Saturday thinking we're going to go to Brighton. And most of us are going, we're going for the fun. But some of us are saying, well, what, we might come away with a point. I think Brighton are a very good team. They are a very good team. And if we get a point there, that would be amazing. Then we've got a week off. Natalie, the stadium will be finished, but we literally couldn't confirm it 100% ahead of it.
That's a shame for you, actually, Dave, because when the fixtures came out, we literally had an absolute cry when we saw that our first away game, that Luton's first home game in the Premier League was against us, because we were just like, we are never winning that game. We are never winning that game. They're going to beat us. And that is difficult for you, because that should have been a really good chance to get that first win on the board against one of your relegation rivals. And now you're going to play us later in the season when it's the business end of the season, in the winter when it's hard, fixtures are piling up. And It's great for us, but that's a shame for you that's happened, to be honest.
Yeah, true. It seems that our first home game might be Gillingham, which is a bit of a letdown. Let's be fair. The first Premier League game, West Ham, obviously under the lights. That'll be fun.
That'll be 3 points, mate. That'll be 3 points.
You'll beat them.
I think I need to be realistic. I just hope that we as a team put ourselves out there and we give a good display, and hopefully, we get a couple of games where we go, well, we walked away with that and we've scored a goal or two that people never expected us to do. Who expected Brentford to beat Manchester City twice last season? Nobody. So sometimes those results happen. I'm under no illusions it's not going to be easy. I'm under no illusions that we're favourites to finish 19th or 20th. But I don't really care, if I'm honest. I think I'm going to have a great time. And you know what this does for us, and it's already been mentioned. It secures my club from the absolute hellhole we was used to be in. It secures my club's future going forward. We get relegated with parachute payments. We've got a 23,500. I know it's not a lot, boys, but 23,500 seater stadium being built. It's only positive for us. So go up there, have the year up there, or up here. No, I'm going to say up there anymore. I'm up here, aren't I? Have the time there in this Premier League, enjoy every single moment, and take from it what we can. And we have actually. I think we've recruited really well in the past. I think we've recruited really well. I think Mick Harford does a brilliant job for our team.
Great man.
Yeah, and he epitomises Luton Town for me. And the team are confident, the club are confident. So let's see what happens. Let's see how this goes. If we could win at least one or two of our opening 3 or 4, it'd be great. But Brighton away, then Chelsea away is not my favourite start, but it's 2 good away trips, isn't it? So,
absolutely.
You know what, Dave? You're not that dissimilar to where we were. Turf Moor's only 24,000 capacity stadium, and we were in exactly the same position as you when we went up in 2009, and we managed to stick around for 8 seasons in the Premier League. And the difference that makes to your club, though, the club as small as us, and the ambition that it can give you, and just the improvements that you can make. You're absolutely right. Don't be too disheartened if you do go straight back down, because we did. We went up, down, and then stayed up for 6 years. We had 8 seasons altogether, but we had to go up and down for the first 2. But every season we got a little bit stronger. When you go back down, if it does happen to the Championship next season, the difference playing in the Championship when you're just a newly relegated Premier League side is insane. Like you'll go down and you'll say, "Oh, the Championship's really hard. We might not get back up again." You'll walk it. Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds will be the 3 sides coming up again next year. They will absolutely destroy that division next year. And if us, Sheffield United, go back down again, we'll do the same next year. The gulf between the Championship and the Premier League is now the battle of the relegated Premier League sides. So I wouldn't be too disheartened if it does happen, because the improvements have been. You hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, man, I love the optimism.
Look what Fulham have done in these last 4 or 5 years. Emilio, up, down, up, down, up, down. You know what I mean?
We've steadied the ship. Hopefully, we've steadied the ship. Recruited well. Been prudent. We didn't splash the cash like we did 5 years ago. So, look, I remember Luton. Remind me, if for those who are young and old enough to remember, Swindon Town when they played in the Premier League all those years. Remember them? Yeah, same thing. Everyone wrote them off, but they had a few victories. They gave a few big teams a run.
Huddersfield stayed up. Barnsley came up.
Barnsley. Remember all these?
I mean, the classic example when Palace got promoted, everybody thought they're straight back down, and they've been around now probably for about a decade.
7 years.
And now Crystal Palace are almost a standing dish in that 11th, 12th, 10th spot, whatever. So, there is the beauty for Luton is a 0 pressure. They carry no pressure. They are winners already. They're the only team, Luton, without any disrespect to the others, myself included, Luton Town are the only team in that league who've already won. They are winners already. Their story is incredible. My father went to a game at Burton Albion 2 or 3 years ago where he met somebody who was a director of Luton Town. And my dad was so impressed with this guy about how level and how, reasoned his thinking was about. And I think, Brighton and Hove Albion came from like an athletics track at Withdean. Luton are on a similar sort of story to Brighton. And look at Brighton now. This is why, to me, Brighton, for clubs of our standing, actually, clubs of your standing, we've won European Cups and stuff, so our history is fine in that regard. But look at Brighton and Hove Albion and look at Brentford and what they can do. And in a way, look at Fulham. You know what I mean? So Luton are a big, strong side. They've got a cracking team spirit. If they can, like I always said about Forest last year, the team spirit that Steve Cooper put amongst 30 strangers was astonishing. That kept us up. Plus, we weaponised the City ground. If Luton Town and Burnley can weaponise Turf Moor and Kenilworth, some of the big guns will find it really awkward there. They'll find minefields and like booby traps.
Turf Moor's horrible to come to in winter at nights. Love it. One of my favourite things ever in the Premier League.
Joe walked up that hill near there, didn't you, Joe?
Did you have a Benny and Hot, Dan? I can't remember whether you had it or not.
I had the Benny and Hot. So nice. I needed one. It was bloody freezing.
It is.
So
One of my favourite sights ever in memories of Premier League football is seeing a bench of Chelsea players with hot water bottles and blankets on the bench. Just like, love it.
Honestly, I was absolutely frozen solid, and I was like, Natalie told me to have a Benny and Hot, so I'm going to have one.
Southern.
It's beautiful.
It's just like big coat weather for us. It's absolutely fine.
Honestly, big coat weather.
I adore Dan, but I don't think he could ever be more southern. As like me and Dan could not be more opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
I don't know how we get on as well as we do. I really don't.
No, I don't, man. I'm proper southern. You're proper northern. But we do love each other.
Very much.
Listen, before I ask you for your predictions to close the show, which won't take long. Joe, I've got to mention it, mate. Obviously, you want to get yourself back up. I want you to come back up because I want you in the Prem. I honestly believe it when I'm saying, not just because you're my mate, but I honestly believe the Premier League is a better place with Leeds in it. I've said that to you before.
Great.
I love going to Ellen Road. And I think your fan base is superb. I think what you do is great in terms of your content creation. I think you're fantastic at what you do. And I wish you all the best of the luck, mate. And I hope you get straight back up. Have you put yourself in a position, do you think, where you can do so?
Not yet, mate. No. We've got to wait till end of month. Because we don't know who's staying at the minute. We made 6 signings.
You're getting Charlie Taylor back, Joe?
I would take him in a heartbeat, Natalie, but it doesn't look like it's happening. He obviously left in bad circumstances because he refused to play, a bit like Willie Nonto. There was issues with Gary Monk and that as well. He was a bit of a snake, I can't lie, and didn't help the lad, and he was badly advised. And listen, I'd take him back. Some fans wouldn't. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But ultimately, football's fickle. Anyone who says it's not is lying. And if he came in and had 5, performances, then everyone would be banging the drum again. Well, at the end of the day, we've just got Sam Byram back. Sam Byram left us years ago.
Good player.
And he went to West Ham.
He's highly rated.
No, it's just injuries. He went to West Ham and then was on loan at Forest, I think, for a bit, but has joined back up with Farker. So we've brought Darlow in, Farker, Ampadu from Chelsea, by the way, 7 million. He already looks a cut above. Honestly, he looks a cut above. Who else? Joe Rodon. Yeah, Joe Rodon from Spurs, which I think is a good sign. He did well at Swansea down there. So. And if we'd have got Max Aarons as well, pal. So the main issues for Leeds United is getting the goals. Bamford's not the man at all, and he got injured in pre-season.
Even in the Championship, Joe,
No, he's done. I mean, mate, he missed some sitters, didn't he, towards the back end of the season? He misses the penalty. He misses the goal against Leicester. If we win that game against Leicester, by the way, I think
I actually put a lot of the blame on him, and I know that sounds harsh when one player.
No,
he messed that up for you, man.
He scored against Hearts, or was it Forest? Was it Forest he scored against, Dave? Was it Forest,
Joe,
yeah. So
Joe
scores
though. With the beauty.
it was an error from the defender, right? He scores and he cupped his ears again. Now that just never going to go down well. You haven't scored for months. You've missed sitters, and then you're in a nothing game in pre-season against the Forest side that were like a couple of weeks behind us that looked leggy.
Yeah.
You could tell that we were already closer to our kickoff. Yeah. It was an error. And he's giving it this. So, and then he goes and gets injured anyway, chasing a ball. His hammy went. So he's done. I think he's done. But the fact that at the minute, Dan, we've got 11 injuries, bro. We've got 11 injuries. It's mad.
Jesse Lingard's free, mate.
No, you're all right. Honestly, I'd rather not.
You could have had him.
Yeah,
Exactly,
Weggy, get Weggy
Mm.
over there. Do you think though, Joe?
Yeah.
Like, because this Nonto thing, I'll just touch on it very quickly because I think he's quality, mate. I think he's probably your best player, if I'm honest. If I had
He's
to pick
overrated, bro. He's overrated, Dan. He's overrated.
he's got to go now, hasn't he?
Yeah, for me. I did a video last night and I said the sadistic side of me wants it to not be confirmed by Saturday so he can sit on the bench and get dogs abuse because I think he deserves it. Because any footballer that refuses to play for your club, he's bang out of order. You should not be allowed to do it. There should be something in contracts. At the end of the day, the fault's on him and his agent because we've seen Robin Koch, Aronson, Vober all have these release clauses in their contract that allowed them to say, do you know what? I don't want to play. We can't say anything to that. But he's on a 5-year deal with no release clause. You shouldn't have signed it, bro. Do you know what I mean? And the disappointing thing is you're going, and you know, I've got stick off Everton fans for saying this. I know Everton are a big club, but I'm on about where they currently are in their they're going to be in a relegation dogfight. You're going to play, and Natalie put it perfectly. Nonto's going to play for Sean Dyche. It's not the same as going to play for an expansive coach, you know, so I just don't think it's the right mood for him. But I think he's been poorly advised because what's quite interesting, Nico Zaniolo, who's at Roma, has the same agent, and Zaniolo was poorly advised and then ended up having to go to Turkey Galatasaray at the last minute and didn't really want that move, and now there's talk of him maybe coming back. So I just think he's been poorly advised, but I always expected him to go, but there's a way in which you do it. You know, Tyler Adams is going to Chelsea and we hate Chelsea, but arguably we're like, it's okay. Yeah, we get it. But Nonto said, no, I'm not playing against Shrewsbury in the Cup. So for me, I wipe my hands of him. It is what it is.
I think that's fair, man. I think that's fair. Listen, I wish you all the best of luck, man. I hope you do get back up. It's going to be a long season for us all, but I hope that you can do it. Let's get some predictions, man. Let's close on this quickly because it's late and it's getting on. I want you to give me the prediction of where you think your club will come in the league, and I want you to give me the bottom three of who you think will go down. I'm not going to get involved with where I think we'll finish because it's not really that show.
Go on, no, come on. Where do you think you'll finish, Dan? Are you going to win the league, son?
Nah, we're not going to win it, are we? They're too good.
Why not, man?
They're too good, man. I can't ever doubt Pep anymore. I'm going to go second. I don't think we've done enough yet. I do think we'll come second. A lot of people saying United, Liverpool, all these are going to outjump us, Newcastle. I don't see that. I think Arsenal have done enough to remain challengers. I just think Man City have just got a lethal striker and the best manager in the world, and I don't think we've got a lethal striker and the best manager in the world, so we're not going to do that. And I'd love to see us do it. I'd love it for everybody and all the fans, everybody in the club. I'd love it for the manager. I'd love it for the players. I think to do it with the youngest manager and the youngest team would be phenomenal, but I just can't see it. But we've got a year of development. We've made some great signings. We still are short if we look at what we're trying to compete with. But I am going to go second. In terms of who I think is going to go down, I think Sheffield United are dead and buried. And I like Nick, but I'm sorry, mate. I think what you've done is crazy. You've got rid of one of your better players. You've got one of them to Burnley, who's been brilliant, apparently, Sanderberg. And I just don't think you've got the experience and the manager and the team to stay up. So I do put Sheffield United down. I do put Luton down with them. Sorry, Dave. You know I love you, but I'm just going to be honest. And I do put Wolves down. I think Wolves are in a mess. I don't see any goals. They've sold Neves, their best player. They've got rid of Jimenez, the only player who did score for them. They've got rid of their manager's walked out because he's had enough. I think Wolves are in serious trouble. I did look at Bournemouth, but I look at the business they've done and I look at the style of play that they're looking.
Trust me, man. I'm telling you, they're going to be good, Dan. They're going to be good.
I'm looking at them now, thinking I'm not going to go for them. I'm not going to go Everton because I think Dyche is has proven he can get a poor side up. I think Steve Cooper proven this. No, he has. Everton are a poor side.
Shit, that was unnecessary.
Oh no, I don't mean Burnley. I mean Everton. Everton are a poor side, aren't they? Like they are. Everton are a poor side. I think Forest have proven they got fight with Steve Cooper. and I think that the lads will get behind him again, and the fan base. That place is unreal to go to and win games. I tell you, that
Thank
is
you,
a
mate.
hard ground, man. Hard ground, and I think that their away form is shocking, by the way, but their home form will pick them up. I really
and not
that.
about to improve either.
Yeah, well, we'll
Be
see.
about 6 on the weekend, Dave. Get ready, mate. Get ready.
Oh, Dave, man, not again. Does he have to come? Oh, no, Dave. Dave, can I just remind everybody, and especially Natalie and Dave, who've never been put under the kind of pressure that I get put under by his nibs here. Was it in March? He very, very loudly said, Dave, man, after we lost at Leeds, Dave, man, you're going. You doomed. And this ancient wreck, this relic that you see before you, had the last laugh.
Yeah, and your mate Daw clipped it up and put it out on Twitter.
Oh, that was
by
class.
the way. Me going, that's it. Forest are relegated. Leeds are staying up.
Oh dear, mate.
Love it. So that's who I'm going with, man. I listen. I don't think Fulham will be near the drop. I really don't. I think Fulham will be fine. I'll put them mid-table again. And Burnley, I'm sorry. I think Kompany's going to do well. I really do. So I don't have you in the drop either. So they're the three: Sheffield United, Wolves, and Luton for me. Natalie, let's come to you, man. Where do you think Burnley will finish, and who's your three for the drop?
Well, I was going to say 15th, but Dave's taken that for Forest, so I'll let Dave have 15th. And I'll take 16th. I think that will be us. I have exactly the same. I have Luton. Sorry, Dave. Sheffield United. I think Sheffield United will come bottom. Wolves, and then I think Luton will come third from bottom. So I think it is a compliment, Dave. I don't think you'll be rock bottom at all. Luton, Sheffield United, and Wolves will go down. I also flirted with the idea of Bournemouth, but I think they've got themselves out of it as well. It's slightly annoying that Everton are going to stay up on default because there's teams that there's just too many teams that are likely to go down underneath them. And yeah, I'll take. No, Joe's having 15th. I'm going to take 16th. So happy days.
Fair play, Emilio.
I think we're not going to hit the dizzy heights of 10th last year when we were even competing for the Champions League at one point. Remember, everyone was going on the league last year. So I'll take 12th. I think we can get 12th player. I don't think we'll hit 10th. I think we'll probably get 12th. But there's that bottom half of the table. To be honest with you, it's all about getting those 6-pointers and winning those games around you. Don't win those games, you can easily sink down that table quickly. So I think we're good enough and better than many of the teams there because we've got experience and hopefully that we can push on from next year. But I think 12th, I'll take that. But I agree with what Natalie and Dan, you've said. I think can't see much else than Sheffield United. Luton, I'd love to see them stay. I think everyone wants to see Luton stay up independently. And I there's something inside me saying, you're going to surprise more people than some of these experts think. I think you have nothing to lose, and I hope that all the very best, Dave. But I think Luton have got a lot to prove, and I hope you can stay up. Why do I feel Bournemouth can still go down? Everyone's saying Bournemouth are good enough to stay up, made some shrewd signings, but I fancy Bournemouth to struggle this year. I think Wolves are going to likely go down. I predicted a year ago that Wolves would struggle last season, but then Lopetegui came in and sort of reversed their fortunes a bit. But they're in a mess, like you said, Dan. But something nagging down in my mind.
It's fair. Like they were the two I was toying with, Emilio. I think they're. I look at what Wolves have done.
One of those two.
Yeah. And I think Bournemouth have done better business, so I've gone with Wolves to go to have the drop. Dave G, let's go with yourself, mate. Come on, have Luton to stay up. Go on.
Well, it's heart and head time, isn't it? So I'm just going to go with my heart and not my head because I put Sheffield United struggling, Wolves struggling, and then anybody else who can finish below us will be great. And at least if we can get that David Pleat moment again from when we beat Man United to stay up. It's a really difficult one, isn't it? It's a really, really difficult one. I don't want to say we're going to get relegated because it's my team, but it's going to be a really tough ask.
Good for you.
I am leaving that last one out as someone else, not us, and we'll just hopefully get that extra point to stay in that last place to stay in the league. So that's what I'm going for. I'm not going to say I'm going to get relegated, but we do know it's going to be super tough.
Love that, man. Joe.
Well, we'll finish 21st, which will be top of the champion. I think in terms of going down, I think same as you, mate. I think Luton will start well. because it'll be an unknown quantity, and people will, especially at their place. It's a shame, like you say, that the first game can't kick off, because I'd put you on an acca straight away. You win that first home game, but I think they will start well and bloody a few noses, but eventually it'll just be too much, and I think they'll go down. I think ultimately, I know we don't like it, but football's about money, and the fact that I know it's horrible, but the fact that Luton and Sheffield United don't have it in spades, it's just going to mean they're going to go down for me. I hope I'm wrong, because like you, I like Nick. I don't mind Sheffield United. It's Chef Wednesday. I can't stick, but I don't mind Sheffield United. And I think it'll be Wolves, like, for their manager to leave 6 days before. And Gary O'Neill, I know he did well at Bournemouth, but, Sam tells us he didn't do as well as he should have. So I think that'll be your three, mate, to be honest.
Yeah. Dave, what about yourself, bro? You've said 15th for Forest, but who's going down?
Yeah, so 15th for us. I'd be absolutely elated with that. Going down, I can only be truly certain about one of the three. You do not sell Sonderberger and Iliman Ndiaye and expect to stay in this division. We've been linked with both of them. They are a car crash already. I mean, there's stuff going on behind the scenes which we don't know about at Bramall Lane. Yeah. Heckingbottom, in a way, if Sheffield United stay up, it'll be a bigger miracle than if Luton stay up. Luton are solid, well organised, together, unified, and on a nice footing. Sheffield United are none of those things. And when Iliman Ndiaye is heading for Marseille and Sonder is heading to a rival, you've got problems. If I was a Blade tonight, I'd be thinking we're down already. They will finish bottom. They will make it actually in a way harder to stay up for some of the others, because I think they'll be cut adrift quite early. Yeah. But having said that, they'll probably win at our place that first game now. So there you go.
That's the spirit, Dave. That's the spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. The other teams, I think if they go down, they're winners. And I'm not patronising Dave in any way, shape or form. I think Luton Town will go down, but they'll go down kicking and screaming. And what you find is if say Burnley win tomorrow night, it's an event. Say Blades beat Palace on Saturday, it's an event. But we had it last year, we beat Liverpool and we beat Arsenal, and it was an event for a promoted side to beat somebody like. I think Luton are going to have a few events where people go, boy, Kenilworth Road, and did you see that team? It might be West Ham, it might be whoever goes there. I think Luton are going to be a story, and I think, like Joe's exactly right, they're going to knock a few people over that you don't expect. I just think the attrition of the season will wear them down. So I think Blades will be bottom and adrift. Luton will go down, but they'll be close up. And then I am really torn between Everton, because they've been on that dotted line for so long, and Ashley Young is their marquee signing. Good player, but
Nonto, mate. Nonto. That's
I think there's a symmetry in Everton going down and probably marking their new stadium with a home fixture against Plymouth Argyle or Rotherham United. Right, that happens. The other one, and to me, they're the unhappiest club in the country. I haven't seen anybody around that club smile for centuries.
Very toxic.
Wolverhampton Wanderers. I mean, they've got some good players there, and they've got a great stadium and a great history, but they all just seem like really, really fed up. So I cannot separate. It'll be either Wolves or Everton to go with lovely Luton and shoddy Sheffield United, I reckon.
There we go. It sounds like there's a lot of
A lot
similarities.
of love for you, Dave. A lot of love.
A lot of love. Yeah, a lot of love for
Hey, I tell you what, Burnley will stay up. But like Joe's brilliant point about Burnley, I think what Vincent and Burnley should do is look at Nottingham Forest and Steve Cooper. We tried to play the way we played in the Championship last year, and we got picked off. Fulham beat us at home. Bournemouth beat us at home. And Steve Cooper then said, right, we're going to play in a way that I don't want to. And I'd like to think Vincent is so clear. I love Vincent. I loved him as a player, and I think he's going to be a great manager. Burnley, if Burnley try and play the way they did when they obliterated pretty much everybody last year, it works in that context. It might not work. And it'll be in Vincent's gift if he can say, right, well, that worked there, but it might not work now. And Forest are doing that. We're going to go to Arsenal at the weekend. We're going to play 5 at the back, and we're going to be hard to beat rather than expansive, because that is the key for Burnley. Bournemouth, they could go one of two ways. They could be like, I do think Bournemouth have bought top heavy at the top end. and I still think their defence needs a bit of work. But I think Bournemouth will be all right, and Burnley, definitely.
Yay!
There we go. Listen, you've heard it here first. We're going to leave it there. Absolute legends. Thank you all so much for coming on. Make sure you do me all a favor. Please hit a like. Please subscribe. Our next target is 12K. So make sure you can hit us towards that. Please make sure you do me a massive favor as well. Go follow Just Joe for all your Leeds content. Go follow Dave on Owen the Town Pod for Luton content. Go follow Cottage Talk and Teddy Nello for Emilio and Fulham content. Go follow the No Name Never podcast and Natalie for Burnley content. And if you like Led Zeppelin, then just follow Dave because he likes them as well. We'll see you next time, people. Take it easy. And as always, up the Arsenal. Laters.